On today's episode of On the Sofa, we're joined by Phil Collinson, producer of Coronation Street and Doctor Who. Phil tells us what it was like to create the iconic Coronation Street tram crash for the 50th special and what it is like to cast Doctor Who. All that and more right here on the sofa. Phil, still in the show. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
You survived Monday, made it to Friday.
Skipped Wednesday.
Yeah, no.
There's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's a
Wednesday's our film.
You missed it. It was a great episode.
The Dark Knight.
You
good
missed it all.
Oh,
Talking about
Batman.
Batman.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to that.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Phil, on this Friday episode, what me, Jack and Bill would really like to talk about with you, and I'm sure what everyone at home wants to know, is truly what it is like to be a producer, especially a producer on some of the biggest shows in England and shows that all of us have been a part of.
Yep.
You know, you have been responsible for a golden age in both Doctor Who and Corrie. Like, for you as yourself, we'll start with Corrie,
Yes.
because that's kind of, you know, that's how the three of us know
Indeed.
you. That's how we met. Like you touched on in the Monday episode, you gave me my job.
I
You
cast
casted
you.
me,
Yeah.
which is crazy. But
You
let's,
only came in for 2 episodes.
yeah, bizarre, isn't it? Like,
It's amazing, really, how that happened. Because that is the great thing about Coronation Street. That was the great joy of it, that someone could literally come in for a couple of episodes and you go, ooh, they're good. They're good. And suddenly then you go to the next story conference, because you know the whole show is run by story conference. It makes it really unique as an experience, is that you every 3 weeks you go in with all the writers and kind of go, okay, what's working, what's not working, where do you want to take the stories now? And sometimes you go in and they go, God, they were great, those two characters, weren't they? Because it was literally just
a happy accident.
It was a happy accident. It was. I can't remember what happened, but something happened where, as you can imagine, on Coronation Street, it is meticulously planned, because you've got so many storylines going, and something happened. I think an actor might have been poorly or something, and we suddenly had to find story really quickly for episodes we were filming, like in 2 weeks' time or something, and. But stories that you could literally just slot in between everything else. And I think someone came up with this story for Steve McDonald where he'd just been left, I think, by Becky, and he was on Tinder or something, and he kind of found this ex-girlfriend of his, your mum, and kind of thought, oh, I'm going to see what she's like now. And so set up to have a dinner in the Nick's Bistro.
Yeah.
And you know, she's turns up and she's brought a son with her. Do you remember? And he sits there on his. Were you on like your Game Boy?
Chewing gum
and blowing bubbles.
Bubbles. And then a straw and just staring for the whole thing.
Yeah.
All I had to do was stare. I remember Ben was there in my first scenes, in my first days. And
he was waiting on, I think.
Just like.
Well, obviously, it captured something. Because obviously then I went back to the whatever the next story conference was, and all the writers were like, they're brilliant. They are brilliant. We need to bring those two in. Because I can't remember how soon. It must have been a few months after that.
It was a while, you know. So
yeah, it must have been
because
there was no plan for you.
Because do you wait until it goes on screen and see what audiences' reaction would be?
Well, sometimes I had it where you would go. I'd look every time I did a story conference. I'd show them something, and I think I might have shown them a bit of Beth and Craig and gone, you need to watch this. This is really funny, because it was just immediately you could see a dynamic. And it was just immediately funny.
They definitely the characters had something at the start when they were rough and ready, and obviously Craig turned out to be a big softie. I don't know if that's because my personality bled into it.
Well, I think that is the joy
soft.
of Corrie as well, is that characters can start off one way, but you kind of shape them and mold them and they change.
Yeah.
Like we all do as we
do.
grow up.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's the joy of it, isn't it? And I think that's what happened with you.
I remember though, because Jack said, how long was it? So I did that, and it was on TV in the August. And I remember it was almost like 6 months later. We're talking like April time.
Yeah.
Because my agent at the time sent Jenny Radcliffe an email to say thank you very much for the opportunity, because I just booked I was booking another job.
Henry VIII.
You were learning to ride a horse
again. I remember because I was like
with armor on.
I was literally like 12 years old, and I was playing football at the local park. I was playing football at the local park, and my mum rang me and was like, I need to speak to you. So my mum came to see me, and she was like, I need you to make a decision here, and it's your decision to make. And at the time, I had signed, or hadn't signed, I had an offer for a film.
I remember this.
And
oh my word.
the
big film.
It was a big film.
I didn't know this.
And the film had gone through, and it was halted. So I kind of knew that I was going to do this film, and I was going out of school for like 6 months to do this film. And then my agent had obviously emailed Jenny Radcliffe to say, thank you for the experience. He's just gone and booked X. And then she emailed back and said, can you please hang on? We're in talks with his mum. Like, we can't tell you this, but we're in talks with his mum. And I think what was happening at conference was because you brought Lisa back about 6 months before, because she started working in the factory. Yes. So you didn't see Craig for a while.
I see. And then we were like, where's he?
Yeah. So Lisa came back, and they were sorting that contract out. So I actually signed a deal with Corrie and didn't work for about 7-8 months.
Oh, okay.
Because Lisa came back before me.
I see. I understand. Yeah.
And the irony was, the decision I had to make that day was, are you going to do this film?
A film that might happen?
Well, this is the funny thing.
It did happen.
It did happen, but it happened 10 years later.
So Billy Elliot.
Have you ever heard of Skywalker?
Harry Potter.
So yeah, no. What happened was, I said
Hagrid.
I want to go back to Corrie because I had the best time ever there. Signed a deal for Corrie, which I think was like it might have been a 12-month contract or a 6-month contract.
Would usually be 6.
I think it was 6. I think it was 6.
Just to make sure.
Like so much going on.
No, because
Is Peppa Pig mean anything to you?
Anyway, then I remember sitting and watching the news, and it was breaking news on Sky Sports News that Hugh Grant had rejected an offer to go and do the film, and it didn't happen.
Sky Sport. What did you say? Sky News.
I was watching Sky News.
You said Sky Sports.
I think you might.
Was
have
it Sky Sports?
Sky Sports.
Anyway, less about me, more about you.
Phil, you just wanted to quickly. You started on the tram crash, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, no, I actually started in the January of 2010. Because I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to get the show into the right place.
But they brought you in for the 50th.
Yeah,
but the 50th was
to do the 50th,
which was October, November 2010.
Well,
Christmas
TX,
is the anniversary,
December the 9th, 2010. Yeah. So I actually started. I sat down at the desk like the 3rd of January 2010.
Yeah.
Because obviously, Corrie's a huge juggernaut, and it's rolling and rolling, as you know, and storylines are planned like 4 or 5 months ahead.
Yeah.
And I had a really, it's never happened to me before or since on a show, but I had a really clear idea of exactly what I wanted to do. Because for me, Coronation Street was the show I'd grown up watching, was hugely shaped my TV watching. My family watched it. It was just that show everybody sat down and watched. My grandma loved it. My mum and dad loved it. I loved it. I just the comedy of it and the pathos of it, everything. It's really shaped drama for me. And the best Corrie, so in the 70s and 80s and 90s, is burned into, Hilda Ogden and Stan and, Raquel and Des and Galen Bryan and Ivy and all of that. It's burnt into my sort of emotional memory of watching television, really. So
who
for
was
me,
it who rang you
massive.
and said, "Will you come and do the 50?"
So it was actually I'd actually been asked to do it before. Always. So the first time I actually went through an interview process.
Okay.
And they asked me to do it, and I bottled it. I was chickened out and went and did a BBC job instead.
Why? Because you
wasn't the right
I was
time.
really terrifying.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was not the. It's a terrifying.
It's a huge job.
prospect. It's a massive job, and it's a huge part of ITV's infrastructure, and a huge. It's a bit like being asked to go and run the British Museum or the National Theatre or something. I think
it's a
because
institution.
you are. It is a massive part of people's lives, and it is a huge job, and I think
they can also hang you out to dry for it as well if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of eyes on it.
Oh yeah,
a lot of red top
and you
press.
can be blamed for
That's
everything.
happened to me.
Yeah.
I had the best and the worst.
Yeah.
I was carried shoulder high. I know the tram crash is amazing, but I was also, the very last edition of the News of the World had a centre spread that had a picture of me that you could cut out, put on a lolly stick and walk around with. And it was basically saying this guy is the worst thing to ever happen to Coronation Street ever. So I had the best and the worst. And also that is, I'm not sure if it's quite the same now, but this was, I'm going back to 2010. So it feels like social media was just starting to be that place that people really went to. But was a real baptism of fire where I literally would get people stopping me in Sainsbury's and going, "Why are you doing to Audrey?" So it's kind of so it was a massive prospect for me. So when I actually accepted the job, Kieran Roberts rang me and said, "I know you said no to us before, but I want to ask you again."
50th year.
The 50th's coming up, and that as soon as he said that, I was like, I sort of sat down for 2 minutes, and I just thought, this is a completely unique experience that will never ever happen to you ever again.
At what point in the phone call did Kieran say, "I want it to be live"?
Well, that came later. That came later because I didn't want to do a live.
Who comes up with that then?
Yeah,
Network.
And
The
what's your
network
reaction
wanted
to that?
So EastEnders had just done a live, and I said I don't want to do a live because everybody's done live, and I knew.
And they're just waiting. The gimmick. They're just waiting for it to go wrong.
I just didn't know how you
could
would
make it better.
feel live like it had never been done before. And so I said, I don't really want to do a live. And they were like, well, we'd really like you to do a live because obviously it gives us this commercial spike. People are just going to come a massive. EastEnders had just done theirs in the February. So I said, well, all right, then if I'm doing the live, it has to be right in the middle of this disaster. So it has to be live like people have never seen live television done before. It has to be not like everyone sat in the Rovers having a party, and then at the end there's a crash, and you go, "Oh, look at each other." And then episode 2 is the pre-recorded episode where you walk out and the carnage happens. It has to be
the crash,
Nick's in the rubble. Rita's been showered in bonbons, and Molly's in the crash zone with Sally. And because I think audiences are really articulate.
Yeah.
I think audiences. The reason I think that episode is burned into people's memory is because they'd never seen anything quite like it. I think you have to I love that episode. I still go back and watch it, and I think it's probably the finest piece of television until Tiptoe that I will ever make because I literally think it's perfect. I think when you imagine we did that in Manchester,
there's not a single mistake.
As a piece of life. There's not a single mistake in it. It's got fire. It's got there's a genuine risk of things collapsing on people. There's a sophistication to it. It moves from the street to the hospital. There's a wedding. There's literally everything in
What
that.
do you two remember from it?
Lots of night shoots.
Yep.
Lots of night shoots.
But what do you remember from the actual live?
Like clockwork. You knew where every member of crew was and what everybody's role was, to the point where you'd be walking down a corridor at an exact time and you would pass someone and you would both open the doors simultaneously at the exact time, because it was just a well-oiled machine.
We
within
rehearsed
an
it for
inch
2
of
weeks
its
or
life.
something.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And
It was Graham Harper that directed it.
Tony Prescott
Prescott
TP.
directed
did
the
the
live.
live. Did the
TP
live.
did
Did
the
Graham
live.
do the week
He
off?
did all the stuff in
Okay.
sort of
Graham
like in
did-
between.
Graham did all the other each side of the pre-recorded stuff, the
Okay,
actual
yeah.
crash itself and the build-up, and then the bits after.
Yeah, and Tony did the live, because
Tony
Tony
did
did
the
the
live.
first live.
Tony did the first live,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
which was the first live anyone had
Had ever done.
Yes.
Yeah, so he
for
was
years
experienced
since
it.
live
Yeah.
television in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is a different, Ben, you've been in 2 of them. Oh,
I've been in 3.
you've done 3.
I must have done 3. Oh no, I haven't done the 40th. I've done 2.
You weren't there in the year
I wasn't.
2000, Ben.
I wasn't. Hold on, Nick was.
You were kicking
and
balls.
I'm the only person to have played Nick. I remember the tram crash thinking, and it sounds a bit cheesy, but I remember thinking, I don't think I'll repeat this. And this is an amazing piece of television.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone in the cast thinking, this could be an amazing piece of
And
television.
it was.
And it was.
genuinely think it
And I remember coming out, and they were all I think a load of people watching it on a cinema screen, and we came out at the part, and you got that first reaction.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's, like you said, it's been burnt into people's minds. If you ask them, they ask a lot. What is the time of Corrie you remember? It was different, but the tram crash comes up again and again. And I remember that it had a momentum to it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that part of why I came on in the January was that I really wanted to steer. I think what myself and the writers did really beautifully is we steered all 7 or 8 storylines towards this.
I remember
one
you
night.
having a meeting with me in your office, and you laid out what it was going to be.
Well,
and I'm like,
well, exactly, because at the beginning of the year, you were with one person living very happily.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted I wanted Leanne, and I even right in like the February, I kind of weirdly knew certain bits of story that I wanted to, like I knew that I wanted Leanne and Nick and Peter Barlow to be right at the middle of it, because it's like the best bits of Corrie are affairs and love triangles and all that. And that was the big love triangle, because I just love you and I love Jane and Chris. So the idea of putting you 3 in the middle of it, but that meant that we had to get rid of that relationship, put you through in a sort of bit of you
to
and
go
Jane,
back to starting with
then,
Jane or whatever.
But we had to do that with all the stories, really.
I remember at the end of it, you went, "Don't fuck it up."
No, I didn't.
You did, but in a light way. You went, "It's going to be this. It's going to be this," and then I think we're going to end off this crash live. Don't fuck it up. I loved it, because you sort of wanted that feeling of, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It gave you that. You. That's the other thing we didn't talk about on Monday. That the producer, a great producer, has the ability to make you want to walk through fire.
Excite you. Yeah.
To do that show and go, let's go. I believe in this.
Yeah, I think you're a bit of a football manager.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
you kind of be that person
Yeah.
standing at the front and going, we can do this.
Yeah.
And I loved it, because I think that it came at a point where, for right or wrong, EastEnders had a few years where it just won everything I'd be at the NTAs for Doctor Who or whatever. I've been a massive Corrie fan, and I'd just see EastEnders winning all the time, and I'd be like, I'd be furious about it. And so, So I think it kind of I was so proud of you all because
Yeah.
I think I stood there and went, this is the best show on British television, and
Yeah.
and I think people
Yeah.
agreed
Yeah,
with me and
yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of went, oh my god, it is. It's look what they can do.
Yeah.
What's it like for you now when you kind of look back at everything you've done and, obviously being a Corrie fan, living in Manchester and looking back and saying, I was the person that did the tram crash. Like, is that pretty cool?
Yeah, it's amazing. I
yeah.
still can't believe it, and I'm glad I did it. I've lost both my parents now. I'm glad I did it while they were still alive, because they were really proud of me. I mean, and critical. My dad used to cut out everything from all the newspapers and post it to me, good and bad. So I'd get this parcel
Like some sort of
full
stalker
stuff.
fan.
Like, just like, and write it in green writing on the
Cuttings.
envelopes.
Read this.
Read this. I think you need to read this, he would say, because you need to read everything, good and bad. So I'm glad I did it while they were still alive, that they got to see it. But it
Yeah.
was a massive, proud part of. I'll always be proud of having made that. And I did 3 years as well. I was not just there for 2 minutes, and I saw it good and bad, and it's a really tough gig.
Yeah.
It is the hardest I've ever worked.
So there we have it. Phil's Corrie highlight is the tram crash and not Craig Tinker. At least
No,
we know.
and Craig
At least we
Tinker,
know.
I think we'll.
Yeah.
We
No.
should say.
I think as well. I think you should be extremely proud of everything you did at Corrie. I think people look back at your time and think like how good it was. You always spoke about it in such a positive way amongst cast, writers, and
Just some great stories. There was
It was
and
the
the
whole John
stories
Stape as well.
you
wasn't
would
it? There was
never.
all
I was
that
just
going
about
on.
to say
Yeah.
the stories you would never get to tell anywhere else on any other
Accidental
show.
serial
The
killer.
accidental serial
Yeah.
killer. I
Fucking
loved
great.
that
Fucking
story. It
great.
ran and ran and ran, and
Yeah.
he just kept killing
He was
people.
And he
so
didn't
good.
want
By
it.
accident.
He
He was
didn't
so
want
good.
it.
Was
And
Graham with it,
people
wasn't he?
loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like people cried when he he fell off a building, and people cried, and you were like, you shouldn't be crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I
a
mean,
serial
just
killer.
brilliant. In the live episode,
Oh,
he's
the
kind
hammer,
of
and he ran
he's
at her with
killed.
a hammer.
He's killed her, and he's like trying to hide her in the rubble. And then the
fucking
ambulance
great.
people come, and they're like,
Fucking great.
"Oh, well done, mate."
He's
And he's
so
like, "Oh,"
good.
and he ends up sitting
Helping
at her
her.
bedside, and then her mum and dad turn
He's
up,
so
and they're like, "Oh,
good.
thank you for saving her life."
He's so good. He's
So
so
brilliant.
good.
And Colin Fishwick's mother turns up. Colin Fishwick's the man that
Colin
starts
Fishwick.
it all
Dolly,
off. He's
yeah.
impersonating him as a teacher. And he
Yeah.
turns back up. He accidentally kills
Kills
him.
him.
And then he accidentally smothers his mother. It was just
mad.
amazing. You could never tell
It
that
was
story in
mad.
any other show.
Absolute classic, Corrie. After this break, we're going to talk about Phil's other love, which is Doctor Who. Stick around for more. Welcome back to On the Sofa. So from the cobbles to the out of space world, I guess, the world of time travel. Doctor. Now I remember when I got the job at Corrie, I was so excited that you were the producer because
Yeah, because I'd already done Doctor Who. when I
Yes.
came to
Yeah.
Corrie,
Yes.
Which I think is, certainly for me as a producer, it kind of made me feel ready to take it on.
Okay.
Because I'd already worked
Done
on
something
one
big,
big
right.
So it-
show.
yeah.
So I kind of felt a bit ready in that regard.
So doing Doctor Who made it easier to step
I
into
think
Corrie. you
it
think?
certainly meant I was more experienced. I'd been involved in a big show.
So you rebooted Doctor Who.
I was
Chris
part of the
Eccleston.
team in 2004 that brought it back. Yeah.
What sort of pressure is that like?
So I was personally massive because I was also the other show. The other show that I was a big fan of when I was a kid, as well as Corrie, was Doctor Who. Doctor Who was I was obsessed with Doctor Who as a kid, and heartbroken when it went off. So on a personal level, I was really obviously excited to make it, but wanting to do it properly and kind of wanting it to be the show for kids that it had been for me, because it was really important for me growing up. I loved it. It was my go-to show. It was a show we sat down as a family and experienced together, sitting on the sofa, and sometimes sitting on my dad's knee or my mum's knee. And there's like just something about the DNA of Doctor Who that just makes it a family experience. And so I was really excited, but also a bit daunted.
For me as a telly fan, and like growing up as a kid watching telly, Doctor Who in that era was like the non-negotiable. Like I think it is still some of, I mean, I think it's the best era of Doctor Who. The Eccleston and the Tennants. I genuinely think those years are so great. But where do you even start? Like, so obviously you and Russell are together on this one.
Well, it was very much his vision. So when I arrived really early on in the process, but there was already a kind of 2 or 3 page document that outlined what that first season was going to be. You know, the last of the Time Lords and the Dalek episode and the Dalek finale and all those big things that happen in that first year. So Russell had a really clear idea of the sort of show he wanted it to be, but he didn't really have. But what I had to come and learn was how to make it, really, because it had gone off in 1998. It had been on 1963 to 1998, so 26 years. But when it went off, it sort of had become impossible to make for the money,
for budget.
Yeah, because Star Wars had come along, and you know, other big TV shows had come along that had bigger budgets that Doctor Who as a little BBC show was never going to have. So it had to leave for a bit, I think. And nobody had made a show like that on British television since Doctor Who, really. And when I say like that, I mean it has got really built into its format, makes it the brilliant show that it is, but the most virtually impossible show to produce. And it was always the case since 1963, simply because every week it's somewhere different.
And massive sets.
Huge sets. And in the modern era, so you know, in 1963, they were in the corner of a little studio in Lime Grove with a pot plant and, you know, whatever they could throw together, and they kind of got away with it. You could not do that in 2004 because people were watching Buffy and Smallville, and they were watching these big American Battlestar Galactica had been on. You know, they were watching these big science fiction shows. And Doctor Who could not be a bit shoddy, and it could not be what its reputation was, which is a bit shoddy and a bit shaky and a bit not very good. It had to come back and stand up again with all of those other shows, and yet it was still a BBC budget.
So, how do you do that as a producer
then? I think it was really difficult. Just things like the first block we ever filmed was the very first episode, which was a giant lump of plastic that lived underneath the London Eye, and controlled shop window dummies that broke out of shops and strangled people. And a wheelie bin that ate people. It was that episode filmed alongside giant 8-foot green monsters that took over the British government cabinet.
Nice.
If only.
And basically became replicas of them. And when they revealed themselves, they had a zip in their forehead. Remember?
Yes.
And they unzipped their foreheads, and then this green monster climbed out. So it's like, the whole thing started with a spaceship crashing into Big Ben. So it's like it was big, and so leaving on a level like you've got to work out how long because we employed dancers to be inside the monsters, so they moved and they were used to being very physical performers. But how long could they stay in costume,
suit
giant
for,
green
yeah.
lizard suit for, and just mad stuff like that.
And stuff as a producer you've never dealt with
Never
before.
done before. No one has.
Yeah.
And sort of rendering time on computers has got quicker and quicker and quicker. But in those days, it was not as quick. So there was a limit to how many. Literally, because we had to make 13 episodes every year. There was a limit to how many visual effects we could put in. And that wasn't even necessarily budgetary, but it was just how much was physically possible to do in the computer that you had in the time you had. So things like that, learning things like that, just learning how you make a modern, sophisticated show like that.
What was the job just before this?
So I did a show called Sea of Souls for BBC,
Okay.
and the reason I got Doctor Who was obviously I knew Russell, but I was also I had to go and do an interview at the BBC for Doctor Who, and I'd done this Sea of Souls job, and one of it was 2-3 2-part stories about a parapsychologist played by Bill Patterson in Edinburgh University, and one of the stories was Siobhan Redmond playing twin sisters who didn't know each other exist, and they find each other staring at a painting at an exhibition by Frida Kahlo of twins, and they're like, and then they find out that a bit like Long Lost Family, they'd been adopted as babies, and they'd been drawn back to this picture. It was a bit spooky.
Okay.
But it involved a lot of visual effects because
Bit of
obviously she
CGI,
had to be two different people.
Two people.
Yeah.
And so I kind of blagged that I really
Knew what you
I
were
knew
doing.
everything
Yeah.
to know about
CGI.
visual effects. CGI is my
Yeah.
middle name.
I can do it myself.
I could do it in my
myself.
bedroom,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Big
there was a
Ben.
bit of that. So that in a
okay.
way was partly why I got the job as well,
bullshit.
because I was able
Just
to go in and
bullshitted
go,
your
"Oh,
way
yeah,
through,
I
hadn't
did
you?
that.
And
That's
you've
what
landed-
I've just
and then
done
you've
for
landed
30
the-
years.
Yeah.
You've just realised.
I can do it.
Job.
I could do that.
That first series back, we've got Christopher Eccleston, we've got Noel Clarke, we've got Billy Piper, like iconic characters that relaunched that show and did it. And instantly from that first series, it was back as a staple of this is what we watch.
Yeah.
We watch Doctor Who. What is it like for you casting the Doctor? Like it's a role. It's literally James Bond, isn't it? It's a role we
Yeah.
all know.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own Doctor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to. It's what people forget is that in 2004, when it was announced that we were bringing Doctor Who back, all the papers were like, "Oh, Ken Dodd's going to play him." You know,
So
it
it's like
was
someone
old
similar
school.
to...
It was like people
Their
had
idea.
a
Tom
view,
Baker.
and not
Yeah,
even their idea, but it
No,
was
Tom
like,
Baker was brilliant.
It's a bit
No, but
you know,
they're trying...
they
They're
were like,
trying...
Yeah, hold on.
it's a bit of a rubbish light entertainment show.
Yeah.
Whereas we were like, it's a full-blooded drama.
Yeah, you took it to a
Yeah.
different
Did
way.
you,
Tom
did
Baker
you
was
know
brilliant.
who you
then.
wanted, or did you see loads of people?
Well, I
Ken
think
Does
Dodd.
Russell
Ken
have an
Dodd.
idea? So every Doctor Who, does he...
Ken Dodd wasn't
does
Ken
available.
Dodd was Ken Dodd. No, he
Turn
was
it down.
still alive.
Yeah.
He was a bit old, Ken Dodd.
Does Russell have an idea for what each series Doctor's gonna be? And then do you go, let's
Yeah,
look
it
for
was
someone
really
like
was.
that?
It was Russell's show. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he knew exactly what he wanted the character to be.
Right.
100%. And obviously, all of us knew that it had to be an amazing actor because what you were going to ask them to do was tough and difficult.
Yeah.
I think the brilliance of what Chris Eccleston brought to it was, you know, he was a big, serious chops actor. And the combination of, you know, someone like that with Billy
Yes.
Piper and
Yeah.
8-foot green monsters
Gave it credibility.
and, you know, well,
It
gave
must
it
have been a risk for him, I
credibility, and
suppose.
I
Could
think
have been
it
a
was.
risk.
I think it was a huge risk.
Our
for-
friends in the
for
north
him,
and all that stuff, all that work, and then he's taking.
I think it was a huge risk for him. He's amazing in it.
Yeah.
And you know, worked his socks off, and is a massive part of why it's a success still today. I
Yeah.
think he reinvented what the Doctor
Yeah.
was
Mm.
for a modern audience,
Yeah.
and every Doctor who's played that part
There's
ever
a similar
since owes
sort of
something to
blueprint.
him.
of
Yeah.
that.
Well,
I think just allowed people like, David Tennant and Peter
Yeah.
Capaldi to even consider it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're kind of going, well,
Yeah,
if this amazing guy
Yeah.
has done it, then
And we've
I'll
seen what it
consider
is
and we
now.
can see what it can do. And he's, you talk to people, it makes me feel old when people come up to me now and they're
Say,
like,
"I loved
your
it."
age, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I was watching it as a little kid, and oh god, I'm
Oh,
so
God,
old
yeah.
now.
Well, and for me, like you mentioned his name then, but we go from obviously the black leather jacket of Eccleston to the brown like trench coat of
Yep.
Tennant. I had a sonic screwdriver.
Good.
Like,
Everyone did.
It was
My nephew did.
top tier TV. Tennant took it into that next level. John Simmers, like it was just
was the baddie.
unbelievable. Yeah.
The
I think
master.
when I
so
I think
good.
when I knew it was a success, really was there was a memory I've got as a little kid. There was an Arndale near where I lived, and there was a toy shop in it.
There was an
and-
Arndale near where you
Yeah,
live.
You mean
in
the
Cross
Arndale?
Gates in Leeds. You're
Oh,
from Leeds, aren't you?
yeah,
right,
yeah.
I'm from Leeds.
I thought you meant
Yeah.
the Arndale.
No, there was
Yeah.
like it was literally, I think it might have even been like one of the first Arndales in the
really?
UK or something. But it's like the Arndale Centre Cross Gates, it's still there.
Yeah.
And it had a little toy shop in it. And coming up to Christmas, they had a display, and it was like a sandpit, and it had all Daleks and Tom Baker and Tom Baker's assistant, and they were all posed like in the early days of action figures.
Yeah.
And I remember standing looking, and I got a Dalek for Christmas or whatever. And I kind of remember thinking, if we could have a toy shop with toys in it, I'll know the show.
You
is
know
on.
I've
you've come
made
back.
it.
And we had it. There
Yeah.
was
We did.
there were sonic screwdrivers. There were
Yes.
you could put. There was like a Dalek head you could put on, and you spoke like
Spoke,
a
it spoke
Dalek.
like
yeah.
that
out of
Cyberman
it,
one
and
as well.
There was a Cyberman voice.
I used to
I
go
think
through
they
the.
called them voice changes, didn't they?
I used to
Yeah.
go through the Argos catalogue and literally circle all the
That's
Doctor
cool.
Who
Toys.
merch that I
When
wanted.
your show's
yeah.
got like
The merch.
toys,
Proper merch.
so
You
And
must
it
have-
had
Have you got
everything.
anything? Have you
Yeah,
got?
I've got
yeah,
a big,
you'll have
I've
it
got
all,
a huge
yeah.
box of those. They used to send me those little
Yeah.
toys all the
But
time.
have you
got
got
a
anything
TARDIS.
from
But
set?
also, I had,
He can time travel.
You must
I
have
have-
stole
I
something
have.
from set.
well, no, I didn't steal. I've not stolen
Darling.
anything,
No,
but
I
I
was
have
given.
got some things that were gifted to
Yeah.
me when I left.
I would. I'd take everything.
As
I'd have a
the
Dalek.
producer.
I'd take
There's a Dalek at.
You definitely have a TARDIS. You must have got a TARDIS in your garden. Or
I'd
something.
love a TARDIS.
That'd
in
be
my garden.
good.
I haven't got a TARDIS.
Yeah.
As a shed or something.
Yeah, yeah,
that would
yeah.
be
amazing.
good.
wouldn't
That'd
it?
be fucking
That'd be
That would be
amazing.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Doctor Who, but then the other thing, Phil, and I'm going to embarrass myself here because I love Doctor Who here,
Yep.
but there was something I loved even more.
What's that?
Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
Do you know what
yeah,
Sarah
yeah,
Jane
yeah.
Adventures
Very proud
is?
of that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like it's like a spin-off of Doctor Who,
Okay.
but it was on the kids. It was on the kids
Oh,
channel.
So
It was on
that is
CBBC.
where you
Oh.
actually where I did have to pinch myself because Sarah Jane was the Doctor Who companion
Yeah.
of Tom Baker when
Ah,
I
yes.
grew up.
Okay.
And so in little 8-year-old Phil, she was like everything to me. Like I was obsessed with Sarah Jane. And so when Russell was like, yeah, I want to bring that, because he felt the same. He loved her. I want to bring that character back. And so we had to go and meet Elizabeth Sladen, who had played her in the 70s.
So we want to bring
and
it
kind
back.
of go, look, we want to bring it back. And we had to go and meet her, and I'd take her for dinner. Even that was like completely starstruck to meet this person who has just meant so much to you. I think I might have even cried.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think after.
deal.
I think I like went
the
back to
soup.
my hotel room that night and like literally had a little sob because I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. That's the absolute joy of doing this working. I mean, you all must feel it. When
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go
at
to work.
times,
It's
yeah.
like, aren't we lucky
Yeah.
that we get to just invent and do these things that you just would never have dreamed as a kid that
Yeah.
you'd get to do.
Yeah.
And that was a big one for me, was because it's just her, and she just had this way. And of course she made this. So she came back in an episode of Doctor Who, then came back and did another couple, and then had her own spin-off show for CBBC that was also enormously popular.
Oh, so good. And the moment where she comes back, Jack, obviously the Doctor recognises her and she doesn't recognise
'Cause
him
he's
because he's
changed.
regenerated.
Ah.
So it's it's Tennant
Changed
looking at her,
And it's not
and
until
he's-
she finds
And
the
he goes,
TARDIS
"It's
in a
me,
cupboard.
Tom."
Me,
and
you
she-
remember?
and she's got K9.
She's
She's
got
got
K9.
Oh, that dog.
in her attic.
K9
She's
was
got
big.
the supercomputer,
Yeah.
genuine, and then she used to fight the same monsters that he would fight.
So
like, oh,
when Tom
I still
Baker
watch it. It's on the
Tom Baker
iPlayer.
has to leave her. He has to leave her. It's a really sad episode of the first run.
Yeah.
He has to leave her on Earth because he's got to go off and save the Time Lords or something. And he sends K9, the dog, to like look after her. A mad idea, really, because she lived in the Cotswolds. So what she was doing
What's
with a
K9's
robot
going to
dog
get up
going
there?
K9's a robot.
Yeah, he
dog,
wasn't
and
good
he's,
on the
going
old
round.
cobbles,
So
was he?
they tried to do a spin-off in the 80s called K9 and Company. Anyway, so we bring it. She's got K9, but he's kind of hiding in the attic now, isn't he?
So
But
good.
it was a great series. It was a great series and a great joy to do that as well. And Liz was beautiful. She's not with us anymore. She was absolutely amazing and beautiful and a massive part of my childhood. So to get to sort of know her and work with her was a
Very special.
very special.
Elite TV, and people still watch it now. Like I don't know if you on TikTok, there is repeats of that all the time. Like watching that
Yeah.
2005 to 2008 era, it's non-stop. And every now and then I'll go on the iPlayer and just chuck one of the
It
episodes.
was a bit
on.
like, I tell you what, it was a bit like as well, was when I did Corrie, I got to meet Liz Dawn properly, and Liz Dawn was my favorite. Vera, I just loved Vera and Jack, and obviously Liz had actually left the regular cast, but came back to do an episode when Bill was leaving.
yes.
And as a boy, I was a paper boy. I used to deliver the Leeds Weekly News, and Liz Dawn lived in Crossgates.
Was she from Yorkshire?
She was from Leeds.
Was
yeah,
she
yeah, and
York-
she lived in
Ah.
Crossgates. So I used to deliver her Leeds Weekly News. So she came back to do this episode.
She didn't
where
fucking remember you.
She came back to do this.
You
No,
lost
it-
my paper every
no,
week, you
it-
bastard.
No, do you know what? It's even better than that. It's an absolutely pure Liz Dawn story. This. So she came back to do. It was one episode. It was a beautiful episode where Jack passes away, and in his he's in that house that they shared together, and he puts Matt Monro on his record, and he's just listening to Matt Monro and closes his eyes, and then he obviously dies, and you just hear Vera's voice. Come on, we've got a bus to catch or something. And he opens his eyes and he's obviously died, but there's Vera and she's come to, it's beautiful. And she's come to take him on this bus and off. And he goes, oh, let's have a minute. And they dance to Matt Monro. And the camera, and we built a set so that we could do this camera move that came up
I
from
remember
the
it.
sitting room
Yeah.
and went above as like Jack's
That's
journey.
Tony Prescott as well,
Tony
wasn't it?
Prescott
I've
directed
seen
it.
it,
And
I've
it went
seen
right
it.
up through, and it went up through the bedroom,
Yeah.
and it
Through
went
the
out
house.
and out onto the street,
Street.
and looked up at the stars. You see,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. Anyway, Liz came back to do that, and I was like, well, I have to tell you something. I used to deliver your newspapers. You never did you? I was like, I really did. Anyway, she went and did the scene, and then about 2 days later, this box arrived, and it's this it's a china figurine of a newspaper seller with a card from her saying, I don't think I tipped you, so I thought I'd buy you this. And I really treasure that. It's on my
That's
windowsill
great.
at home.
Absolutely.
But it was the same, like meeting some of the characters, some of the cast of Corrie, the older ones that I'd been with the show since I was little.
It's so good. You've made some unbelievable television, and you are continuing to do so just now with
Thank you,
Tiptoe,
sir.
as we
Yeah.
spoke about on Monday. Final question, Phil, before I let you go, and this is a big one, and it's tough, okay?
Oh,
Ooh.
could have told me.
I know. You are renowned for your work on Coronation Street. You're renowned for your work on Doctor Who. I want you to tell me which Corrie character could take on the Dalek. It's big, this. Jack's got
it
his
is big,
thinking hat on.
this.
Oh,
Wait,
which Corrie
which
character?
Could be the
would-
Doctor.
No, could take on the Dalek. As in, who wins in
Who
the
would be a
fight?
Dalek?
Oh, who would fight a
who'd
Dalek?
fight it
Yeah,
and win?
who's going to fight
Oh,
the
I
Dalek?
think it'd have to be Bet Lynch
Yeah?
for me. Do people know who Bet Lynch is?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it would have to be.
Bet Lynch beats the
Bet
Darling.
Lynch beats. She definitely beat it hands down.
Yeah.
She was absolutely
No.
nailed.
Hard as nails.
Absolutely nailed.
Exterminate.
Phil, thank you very much for joining us here on the sofa. Tiptoe,
you.
available to watch now.
Yeah.
4 on demand. Go and watch
Watch.
it.